Hey, hi, and hello everyone. Marvel Rivals is a game that I've always adored, except after 9 PM. With how creative and intricate the designs of the characters are, and frankly this concept being done for other games, I have always wondered to myself, is this a water type? Pokémon, a very popular series to say the least, that actually just got its 10th generation announced for the 30th anniversary. Team Angry Bird, by the way, he's tough like that. I never really played the games honestly as a kid, and not now. The typings, however, I love me some good Pokemon types. It just feels so good to see a Pokemon like Hisui and Zoroark just get the chef's kiss of typings that fits it like a clearance label on a Skylanders box. So I figured, hey, I'm bored. Let's give some Pokemon types to Marvel Rivals characters, with a few ground rules. Rule number 1, no being boring. This is a grass type, we know. Therefore, I'm going to try and give as many dual typings as possible. Some heroes are too good to pass up a good old single type, but most have broad enough skill sets or backgrounds that I can find a second one that fits. Rule number 2, don't write a rules section of your script before knowing what the rules are, because there's only one. Let's get into it. Doctor Strange, not even gonna dance around it, he's a psychic type. There's too much magic involved with him to not make this the obvious choice, but what type of magic does he expel on a 6-second cooldown, dealing insane damage and paired with an invisible one pulls everyone in and grants a bonus health? That's right, baby. Dark magic. Psychic dark it is. Hulk at first seemed difficult, but I quickly came up with an interesting combo. Electric fighting. His whole character being based off gamma radiation just makes electric slide right in as the first type. Ha. Ha. However, fighting naturally makes sense as well. He's a brawl character, aggressive as all hell, and will not stop diving the backline, specifically when I'm on support. Next up, Captain America. I debated back and forth on whether or not he deserves the steel typing, considering his shield's actually, vibranium. But there is some steel in it, and his playstyle, attributes, and 10-second never die button are just too much together to not make him deserve it. As for the other typing, go white boy go. He's a normal type, there's literally nothing special about him besides the super serum. I am grass. Type. Yeah, just click off the video. Groot is a grass type, but his second type wasn't actually difficult to determine either. As a Flora Colossus, he can do anything with plant life, which I felt was a perfect reason to give him a secondary ground type. He does a lot to interact with the ground, and it's one of those that just kind of feels right. I'm ground. Venom's always been a really cool character to me, and obviously I could just give him dark type, but I want to be creative with these typings, and a different typing called out more to me, the water type. Venom's a symbiote and forms itself as liquid does to its selected prey, but water itself doesn't give the Venom vibe, so with the strength it saps from its opponents, I assign Venom water poison. To me this is perfect, but let me know if you disagree. Mag might be the easiest choice so far. Psychic Steel just makes too much sense here. I don't even think I really need to explain it, and kids have short attention spans these days, so moving on. Thor is stepping up to the plate, and immediately as the literal god of thunder, he's an electric type, non-negotiable. However, I'm actually going to change things up with his secondary type, and assign him our first flying type. Thor's means of mobility are heavily flight-centered, with him following his hammer through the air, and he uses the air a lot in combat, flying around his opponents, and even for his ult. He just hovers in the air. I'd show footage from movies, but my piggy bank needs a refill, and I'm not going to risk it. Electric flying for Thor. Penny Parker is next, and you might argue with me on this one until you look at the type chart yourself and realize, goddamn, there's nothing to do here. I'm giving Penny Bug Steel. Bug works not just because of the awesome computer pun, but also because she likes using her webs as a domain of sorts. If you're in them, you're fighting on her ground, and she gains an advantage for it. Kinda like bug traps work in the real Animal Kingdom. Steel is self-explanatory. She's in a giant mech, and all of her tech is metal gadgets. There's going to be a lot of steel types in this, but stick with me because I'm trying to give all the types equal representation as I can. Alright ladies and gentlemen, it's clobbering time, and we are very obviously sticking the thing with the classic rock ground. You might be saying, Dave, rock and ground are the same thing, why give him both? And no, it's actually different. He's made of rocks, punches with rocks, and uses rocks for self-defense, but he also interacts a lot with the ground. He slams it to Earthbound your local panther, and obviously raises the ground when it's clobbering time. More than justified. What's not justified is how ridiculously easy it was to identify a type for Emma Frost. I was scared at first, but then I realized, wait, her entire gimmick is being an ice queen with psychic powers. You can't get more grass green than that. Angela's gay. But She definitely fits as a flying type. I don't know yet if I'm going to give every flyer a flying type, but Angela's absolutely deserving of it. As for the second type, she is one of the most aggressive and oppressive units in the entire game, so I think flying fighting is a good duo to assign her. Rogue, on the other hand, is a little bit of a what the hell kind of character. She doesn't really have any ultra distinct type determining characteristics. I decided on Psychic for her absorption, and even that isn't an inherently psychic trait. It just involves magic and felt the closest to what I could connect. She does also have the ability to absorb energy projectiles and strength, so I convinced myself that Psychic was good enough and moved on. Lastly for the tanks, we got Deadpool. He's got the healing magic, and honestly his charismatic zestiness just screamed fairy to me. However, he's also a brawler and loves going too far in during fights just so he can regenerate, so fairy fighting definitely works here. And we now move on to DPS, duelists as this game calls them, because you are dually fucked if you have more than two of them. Beginning with textbook DPS slander, we have Punisher. To me, Punisher, with his frankly horrifying past and fighting style, fits the bill for a dark type. But since he uses a lot of machinery, and frankly I think this is one of the coolest type duos in general, Punisher is receiving Dark Fire. I also have like 2 characters to use fire on, so why not? Storm is as grass green as it gets, man. Not type-wise, but ease of choosing the type. This is the most flying electric type I have ever seen in my life. She literally controls the wind and the lightning. It can't get any easier than that. Hawkeye, however, oh man is this character such a white piece of paper. He's so bare bones that it's literally known to the superheroes in the MCU that he's got nothing on any of them and is just there because he has good aim, I guess. If you haven't guessed by now, Hawkeye's a normal type, and literally just normal. I hate this character, so I don't feel bad about doing it. Speaking of characters I hate, Hela's up next, and hers was also relatively easy to pan down. The Goddess of Hell. Yeah, that sounds pretty dark to me, I don't know about you. As for her second type, I was deciding between Dark Flying and Dark Grass, but I ultimately decided on Dark Grass because I feel like it fits her more with controlling crows and everything, and relating to life, instead of just Dark Flying, which is just based on the fact that she can fly and her crows can fly. I don't know. Either or. I hate this character anyways, so who cares? Okay, I just had my fan on during recording this, so gotta record it again. Yeah, I hate myself. Black Panther, the tickle monster, the cooldown king, yeah, I can do that character. Panther stumped me, dude. He's such an odd character to categorize in a typing system, but I think I kinda cooked? T'Challa has always been known for his mobility, and in Marvel Rivals that is especially the case. He flies by almost like a ghost. Oh, there's our type number 1. I know, I'm a genius, thank you. Type number 2 is going to fighting, and this inspiration came from the fact that the vibranium in his suit actually absorbs impact and powers up his own attacks, as shown by the incredibly useless passive in the game. Magic's up, and with one of the more demonic backgrounds of the characters in this game, I'm very willing to give her the dark typing, and coming from Limbo, which if you don't know is told to be in between heaven and hell, I believe the fire typing also works. She is a literal demon after all. The Moon Knight himself is up to be our second ghost type, not only because, I don't know, what else would you think from looking at him, but also because the moon haunts you. Also, steel type, because steel. Yeah, moving on. Squirrel Girl, hated by all, loved by none, and her typing is going to end up being ground grass. The ground typing stems from her squirrels taking grounded routes to all of her enemies, and her shots bouncing off the ground as well. If you've ever fought her before, you'll know it's way easier to play against her in the air. The grass type is fairly self-explanatory as well. Squirrels live in forests, and that's their primary environment. It just feels right. Next up, this may surprise you, but Black Widow's in this game. She's so useless, man. I'm glad I'm not a sniper player, because this would just infuriate me. Regardless, I ended up on electric normal. She's still a human without any superhuman powers, so the normal feels right, and I decided on electric not only because of her electric gun and plasma, but also because of outside sources, where she has her signature taser and fair share of electricity-based weapons that I cannot show due to my piggy bank. Iron Man was super easy to lock in steel for, but as the other type, I was kinda stumped for a little bit until I ultimately landed on electric. We've had a lot of electric and steel types, but nothing else really made sense to me, and I'll take a type making sense with common types than choosing something random that has no correlation with the original. Scarlet Witch is the next psychic victim, and honestly she seemed like a no-brainer psychic dark. Evil, magic-based, and even tied with Strange, who had the same typing. Fits like a glove. Bucky Barnes is boring. I really tried here, man, but nothing fits better than normal steel. I debated normal because, like Cap, he's human with the serum, but the steel arm is literally his entire character identity, so I can't just strip that away. So instead of going one route or another, I just did a combo of the two. One of the coolest types in my opinion comes next with Star-Lord, reason being that elemental duos have just always been fascinating to me. Volcanion with its fire-water typing and Lantern with its water-electric typing come to mind as some of the coolest yet rarest combos out there. To finish out the trio I just mentioned, Star-Lord's going to be receiving Electric Fire, with his elemental guns, Savvy Tech, and of course the Flaming Ravager symbol, making it the perfect fit. Speaking of elemental, Namor is here, with an obvious water typing to go along with him. However, since he communicates with creatures of the sea, and I thought it'd be a nice switch up, I'm assigning Namor Water Psychic, very fitting for a commander of deep sea creatures. Psylocke has always been one of the coolest characters in the game. Her whole vibe, her kit, her presence in the match making me terrified. This character's got hella aura, not gonna lie. We're gonna start with arguably the finest type in all of Pokemon. According to the last time I checked, don't jump at me, I don't pay attention that much to the sweaty Pokemon players. The Fairy type. Having light magic at her disposal grants her this, while the other reason ties to her other type, the Bug type. Psylocke is known to go in and out very fast, especially with her magic abilities such as her dash and her invis. However, she also has her association with butterflies due to the butterfly-shaped mask that appears when using her powers. Long story short, Fairy Bug, cool typing, cool character. Speaking of cool characters, Wolverine, Mr. September 15th himself. At this point, the video is going to come out on September 15th. Goddamn, I'm procrastinating. Not going to dance around it. He's a steel type. I hate it too, but come on, man. He's got steel in his hands as weapons. Also, one look at the guy can instantly tell you this is a fighting type. He's so savage, man. It'd be weird to see him not get it. Fighting steel it is. Town halls aren't going to get any cheaper, so I'll make this one quick. Iron Fist is actually going to be the receiver of the final unused type in this video, the elusive Dragon type. I mean, come on, do I really need to explain this one? Additionally, he will receive the Fighting type. Do I really need to explain this one either? Mr. Fantastic was a weird one. He doesn't really have any instantly identifiable type. He's just smart, but not smart enough for Psychic. And stretchy. There's no stretchy type. I really tried, but especially thinking in the context of Pokemon, I couldn't imagine him as anything but a straight normal type. Torch is a pretty grass-green pick, which is a horrible phrase to use when you are discussing a fire type. Pretty ironic, but even funnier when you realize that we're giving the same type combo to two characters in a row, because after Torch comes Phoenix, who, as Phoenix, will receive the fire flying type. These are both quick ones, I don't really need to think about them, but they definitely both equally fit. Nearing the end of the DPS, we have Blade. The devs haven't treated him too fairly throughout the time he's been out, but when it comes to Pokemon types, I think I treated him pretty fairly. Blade's first typing will be a type tied for the fewest members so far, the Poison type. I was waiting so long to find a hero that it finally fit, and Blade's anti-heal and lifesteal played perfectly into the Poison role. For his second type, I'm going with the Dark type, pretty self-explanatory as a vampire. Daredevil is up, one of the coolest characters in all of Marvel Rivals. Therefore, his typing's gotta be cool too, and that it is. Daredevil is officially, unofficially, a dragon psychic type. The dragon comes from his sheer aggression when fighting opponents, and I know this is rival specific, but he has pretty draconic particle effects, if that makes sense. And the psychic typing comes from his heightened abilities due to his blindness. He can sense other people lying, their location, and be a master in combat, all from just 4 of his 5 senses, and I think that very easily qualifies him for psychic. Elsa might have the most aggressive, stubborn personality out of any hero, and will always fight with severe overconfidence, leading me to assigning her a fighting type. And considering her relation to monsters as well, I decided that Elsa Bloodstone is going to have a typing of Fighting Dragon. The God of Mischief Loki is up, and I couldn't really think of any type more suitable than Psychic, as he's constantly manipulating others with his shape-shifting abilities. I was debating Dark, but since he isn't always necessarily evil, nor using dark magic, I think just Psychic alone works. Mantis definitely fits the bill as a Psychic type, with her having Psychic manipulation as her entire gimmick as a character. However, pure of heart and always wanting to use her powers for good, I'm giving Mantis the Psychic Fairy duo. One that wasn't so easy was Rocket Raccoon, because he's just a genetically modified raccoon. However, his genetic modifications, fighting style, and general interest led to me giving him the Electric Steel type. With how many gadgets he has and his unmatched mechanical skills, I thought it fit the bill fairly well. The duo of Doom and Despair is up, but I mean, it's Cloak and Dagger, light magic and dark magic. Not gonna drag it, very dark. Luna Snow is gonna very obviously be our second ice type, but the question is, does she deserve a second typing? Her ice powers can actually function as light ice and dark ice, with the light ice having the healing magic and the dark ice having corrosive magic. This is actually the reason for her being able to heal and deal damage in the game. They didn't just make that up so she was balanced. I almost gave her dark, but considering light and dark are both stone magic in of themselves, I landed on the fairy typing to cover all bases and show both sides. Next up was Adam Warlock, and man, what the hell do we do here? Honestly, the closest I could think of was actually Goldengo, in that, well, they're both gold. However, Adam is also meant to be the perfect life form and incredibly durable. Due to this, I gave him the steel typing, and since he has incredible mobility literally everywhere but this game, they actually patched in some flying, so it even kind of applies here now. I'll make him steel flying. I know he has magic, but I don't want every character with magic to just automatically be a fairy type, so steel flying it is. Alright, you saw the thumbnail, you know what time it is. Jeff the Land Shark is up next, and for being a shark, he is very obviously starting out as a water type. All of his abilities are water based or shark based. However, Jeff is a sneaky aggressive specimen, and just because he fits the bill of a mythical creature, I'm gonna assign Jeff Water Dragon. I mean, just look at the guy, it fits. Invisible Woman is up, and immediately I can say he's Psychic type. What? It's she, what? Invisible Woman is up, and immediately I can say she's a Psychic type. Her powers are all of brain power, and require a lot of mental stamina to be able to perform. However, she's Invisible Woman, and I know you would never assign her this typing just by looking at her, but Invisible Woman is a certified ghost type, with her main ability being transparency. Ultron might be the easiest choice so far. He's a super robot against all life forms, steel type. However, I decided to also give him a fire type due to his explosive nature and ability to heat up his own body for destructive uses. Gambit is the second most recent addition to the supports, and his typing was extremely difficult between the psychic and fairy types. The way Gambit's powers work is that he has the ability to convert potential energy into kinetic energy, and doing this on objects, such as his playing cards, leads to them gaining explosive properties. Considering his ability to do it on inanimate objects, I would count this more as enchantment or magic rather than a psychic manipulation, leading me to ultimately decide on the fairy type. Last but not least, we have the brand new White Fox, who will be receiving the Psychic type. Her ability to charm enemies, as well as communicate with other animals, more than earns her this type. I was debating giving her Ice or not, due to her connection with Luna Snow and having Arctic Fox coloring, but I ultimately decided that neither of those really qualified for typing purposes, and just stuck with Psychic. And for now, that is going to be a Pokemon typing for every Marvel Rivals character at the date of this video's recording. YouTube hasn't allowed a feature that lets you extend a video yet, but if they add that, I'll see if I decide to do the other characters in the future. However, if not, be sure to be on the lookout for any YouTube shorts I might make about newer characters in the future. Thanks so much for sticking all the way through. Be sure to subscribe, become a member, and join the Discord. And I will see you guys in the next one.